Hi guys, I'm Aliya.
And I'm Lauren, and in this video we're going to help you understand how to use GitHub to host your websites for free. We'll explain first what GitHub Pages does as a hosting service, next the types of sites you can create with a GitHub account, and how to create these sites.
And we're also going to talk about how to map a personal domain name to the sites that you create. And last thing, before we jump in, if you like this video, please consider subscribing and supporting this channel.
So GitHub Pages is a hosting service for static sites. A static site is a website with fixed content. HTML, CSS, and JS files are displayed in a browser exactly as they're specified. A hosting service sets up your website files so that they can be accessed from a browser. Placing an order at a restaurant can be used as an analogy to understand how a site is accessed from a browser. For example, what happens when we order takeout? First, we place our order, an order ticket is then created and give it to the cooks in the kitchen. The cooks can find all the ingredients needed for our items and prepare the food. And then someone will package the food into a to-go bag and bring it back to us, and we can eat our meal now. So let's compare that to what happens when we enter our website URL into a browser. First, an HTTP request is created, just like an order ticket, and the request is sent to a web server, which is the computer that hosts the site's files. This is like the kitchen. The web server finds the necessary files and packages them into an HTTP response, just like a website to-go box. Then the response is sent back to the browser, and now we can see our website. So as a hosting service, GitHub Pages is like the kitchen in our analogy. And all we are responsible for is providing the files for our website. So there are two types of sites you can host with GitHub Pages. First, there's the user site, which has the URL yourusername.github.io. A GitHub account can have only one of these user sites. The next type is called a project site, and it has the URL yourusername.github.io/your repository name. An account can have one of these for every repository. Okay, let's walk through how to set up a project site. Our starting point will be a GitHub repository with your website files in it. A repository is a project folder tracked by Git, and if you would like to learn more, you can watch our previous video called Intro to Git and GitHub. So our example website has one file, index.html, and this is what it looks like when we open it in a browser. If your site is more complex, you might have more HTML, CSS, JS, and other config files. Okay, so next we'll go to the settings page and scroll down to GitHub Pages section. We'll specify the files that we want to display by selecting like the branch and the folder in our repository. And now that we've saved, it can take up to 20 minutes for the new settings to activate. And here's an example of what it will look like when you click on the URL. Okay, on the settings, you can see that GitHub Pages also has a theme chooser, which can display your files with a specific style. So you can look into that more if you're interested. To make a user site, you can create a repo with the same name as the user site's URL. So your repo name will be your username.github.io, and GitHub will automatically configure the GitHub Pages settings for you. You can change the settings later, just like we did for the project sites.
If you want to host a React application, the process looks a little different. If you use Create React App, you actually have all the tools you need, and the process includes modifying package.json and npm installing GitHub Pages. But there are a few other hosting options such as Heroku, Netlify, and Firebase hosting. You can just check out the Create React App docs for more information, and they will be linked in the description. What if you want your URL to end in .com instead of .github.io? It's time to set up a custom domain. First, you have to purchase a domain name to use, and you can use a service like Google Domains or GoDaddy to do this. We use Google Domains in this example. Next, go to the Settings tab in your GitHub repo. Then in the GitHub Pages sections, enter your new domain without the www into the custom domain field and click Save. This will create a CNAME file in the same repository. Make sure to not delete that. Finally, we need to update some information with your domain name registrar, which would be GoDaddy or Google Domains or whatever you used. Under DNS management, you should be able to edit the DNS resource records. One of the records we will modify is the A record. By adding the following IP addresses, you are pointing your Apex domain, the main domain without www, to the IP addresses for GitHub Pages. We will also add a CNAME record, which can be used to alias one name to another. We will redirect the www subdomain to the original domain by setting the CNAME field to your username.github.io. So now decryptedbyus.com is pointing to laurenmeier.github.com. Google domains might place a period after that text, and that's completely fine. Note that it might take up to 24 hours for these changes to take effect, so check back the next day. It is also recommended that you enforce HTTPS on your site by selecting that button in GitHub Pages. Note that that might also take up to 24 hours to become available.
Let's visit our custom domain now that the setup is complete. Yay, it's working. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more content like this.
And make sure to leave a comment if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thanks.